Okay, we're back for the NBA here on Sunday, January 12th. We've got 9 games in the NBA today. Hopefully all 9 actually happened, because hell, we had 7 games in the docket yesterday, and obviously we knew 2 of those were going to be canceled, obviously, in both Inglewood and Los Angeles, California. But then add on top of that to the Atlanta Hawks and the Houston Rockets, who didn't play because of snow. Wow. You know, that one caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie, didn't see that one coming. Anyways, we've got 9 games in the NBA today. I think all 9 should be able to give it a go today. So, folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Earlier today, a couple hours ago, we posted our college basketball best bets. We do this every single day here on the channel, so make sure to check that video out after you're done watching this one. And also, we have our NFL predictions right now. The Bills and Broncos game just started, but we also have the Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles prediction, along with the Sunday Night Football game between the Washington Commanders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So make sure to check that video out after you're done watching this one. Okay. On to the first of our 9 NBA games today. We start things off here in the Garden. We've got the New York Knicks taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, and I actually like the Bucks. I know I've picked against the Bucks a lot, but we're going to take Milwaukee in the spot here in New York. The Knicks have been very just meh recently. They've lost 4 of 5, losing to the Thunder, who again are the best team in the NBA, no doubt, but losing to the Thunder. They beat the Toronto Raptors, they lose to the Magic, they lose to the Bulls, they lose to the OKC Thunder. So New York now finds themselves at 25-14 this season, which still puts them 3rd in the Eastern Conference, but still, New York losing 4 of 5. I'm telling you, man, the extended minutes for everybody in the starting lineup going 35-40 a night is not going to cut it. It is going to continue to wear these guys out. Again, this is what Thibodeau does, but man, I don't like it. I don't like it. The Milwaukee Bucks, you know, they went on their little cold stretch where they lost 4 or 5 themselves, losing to Brooklyn, Chicago, Brooklyn, and Portland. Their win, of course, it was the Pacers. But hey, Indiana, just saying, the Pacers are now 21-18. They're right back in the swing of it. Regardless, how are the Heat still? Oh, because the Heat won last night. Miami's still ahead of them in the standings? Seriously? Okay, whatever. We'll get to the Pacers in a little bit. I'm just saying, we'll get to Indiana. I don't mind them today. We'll fully talk about that later. Milwaukee, though, 20-16. New York, 25-14. The Bucks have figured it out, obviously, after losing 4 of 5. They are somewhat injured, but I assume all their guys are going to go. Damian Lillard probable with the left calf contusion. Giannis probable with the knee injury. Chris Middleton obviously coming off the bench, but he's probable, and Gary Trent is questionable as well. I'd expect all these guys to give it a go. And again, the difference in this basketball game to me personally is that the Bucks have a bench and the Bucks actually, have a rotation. The Knicks don't entirely have that. I don't know. Just recently, I've been very anti-Knicks. I just don't think they're that great right now. I'm not saying that's going to continue, obviously, throughout the course of the season, but right now, in early January, it just doesn't feel like the Knicks are playing that great of basketball. And honestly, I don't really, when I compare the Knicks to the other top teams in the Eastern Conference, like, are you taking the Knicks in a 7-game series against the Cavs, Celtics, Bucks, hell, even Pacers? Like, I'm not. And Magic fully healthy? I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm hating, but, like, I don't know. The Knicks just really don't do it for me right now. I don't know. Again, Jalen Brunson, great player. Karl-Anthony Towns, probably a starter in the All-Star game. I'm not blown away with them right now. Sure, again, they rely on their shooting, but I do like the Bucks in this spot. Like Giannis, who is making an MVP case. It should be Shea, but Giannis is joining Shea and Jokic in the MVP race, or, the elite category, at least, of the MVP race, but in this spot, give me the Bucks go on the road in New York and win the basketball game. And again, we should expect a pretty big night out of the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. To our next game, we go to Dallas. So these are some earlier games today. Obviously, the Knicks and Bucks at noon. Here come the Mavs and Nuggets at noon as well. And I like Denver on the road here. The Nuggets are getting 4.5 points. I expect them to cover that line and win as well. Guys, Russell Westbrook is playing great basketball. It's something that, I didn't know if it was going to be a talking point at all this season, but I think, Russell Westbrook, who's playing for only $3 million this season, is averaging 13, 5, and 7. And sure, again, that is obviously still, down numbers for Russ compared to at least his MVP stats when he was playing in Oklahoma City, obviously. But the thing is, okay, nothing is going to replicate what Russell Westbrook was doing at OKC. I think for what Russ is being paid and for what Russ is being asked to do in Denver, I think he's doing a tremendous job. It's better than what he did last year in Los Angeles. Hell, I would say both of his years in Los Angeles, I would say. Actually, the first year with the Clippers wasn't horrible. Well, the Lakers years, no. I think this is the best Russ has played since, honestly, he left Washington. I really think it is. Again, points numbers may be down from, the Lakers stint, but still, I think this is the best Russ has been playing, at least. The best Russ has been contributing to a team since he was, with the Washington Wizards. Obviously, Russ with a triple-double in the last game. Jokic had a triple-double as well. Both those guys are going to be playing this game, obviously. Well, Jokic is probable. And then Jamal Murray's questionable with a knee injury. Aaron Gordon is questionable. He's been out for a while. He might be back in the swing of things as well for this game. As for the Mavs, they are still without Luka and Kyrie. Now, for Dallas, they are coming off of a win the other night against the Portland Trail Blazers, getting that one by 6 points. They've now stacked together back-to-back wins, obviously, somehow beating the Lakers and then beating Portland, where, Quentin Grimes led them in scoring one night with 23, and the other night it was Jaden Hardy putting up 25 points in the victory over the Portland Trail Blazers. I think Denver should be fine in this spot. It's the first of two between the Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks. Denver will be sticking in town, I would assume. They have to be in Dallas because they play again on Tuesday. I don't know why the NBA continues to do this back-to-back stuff. It's pretty stupid, but there's a day off in between this one. And also, they're playing this one at noon on Sunday. So, just why? You could have made this a night game so Denver doesn't have to stay out here for that long. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know why the NBA does stuff like this. Anyways, give me the Nuggets. The Nuggets are the healthier team, obviously. They're not missing their 2 stars. And when Denver's on, they're good. They are. I can't deny it. They're 22-15. Sure, they do lose some games that they shouldn't, but hell, they've now won 3 of 4. Spurs win. Boston loss, Clippers, Nets victories. They let the Nets back in that game the other night, which was kind of odd, but they put them away when, Brooklyn was back within 8. So I think Denver will be fine here on the road against Dallas. I don't believe that the Mavericks are able to put together 3 in a row with these injuries, so give me Denver on the road here in Dallas, Texas against the Mavs. Next up, we move on to the other kind of early game today at 12:30. We've got the Sacramento Kings going to Chicago to take on the Chicago Bulls. Give me the Bulls. Guys, this Kings run needs to end, okay? They've won 6 in a row now. They have not lost in 2025, plus their win on December 30th, obviously in 2024. It's going to come to an end eventually, and it's going to come to an end within their next 2 games, either tonight against the Bulls, or it's going to be on Tuesday when they go to Milwaukee. I actually think the Bulls get them right now. I believe it. Guys, this is a game that kind of feels like Chicago can win, okay? The Bulls quietly have not been playing all that badly. They've won 3 of 4 in their own right, beating the Knicks, Spurs, losing to the Pacers, and then beating the Wizards. But Zach LaVine has been killing it, all right? LaVine, again, averaging 33 points so far, at least in the calendar year of 2025. Obviously, just working his ass off to try to get traded. But again, this is the stylistic matchup that the Bulls can kind of win, okay? Chicago, run and gun. We don't play defense. We're just trying to outscore you, obviously. And the Kings, kind of do the same thing, but it's a matchup that, Sacramento, there will be nights where the Kings, if they're not hot, they are just going to miss shots, right? I don't believe De'Aaron is back yet, if I'm not mistaken. Is Fox back? Fox is questionable for this game, so we'll see if De'Aaron gives it a go here in Chicago. I don't trust DeMar DeRozan. I just don't. I know he's been playing a lot better since how Doug Christie's has become the interim head coach. I still don't trust DeRozan's shot. Keegan's been playing better. Malik Monk has been playing better, obviously, and Sabonis is doing his damn thing. I mean, hell, Sabonis had one hell of a night in Boston, right? 28 boards for Domas, insane. 23 and 28. Oh my goodness, that's one hell of a basketball game. But regardless, guys, the Kings are coming off that high of beating Boston. Oh, what a victory. They were 13.5-point dogs, and they went into Boston and won. Now this is a letdown spot, okay? Now they let everyone down. The Bulls go out here and stun them because, again, this is what the Bulls will do to you. If you don't take the Bulls serious, if you're looking ahead to Milwaukee on Tuesday, no, the Bulls are going to catch you. This is not a bad team, man. Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Vooch. Off the bench, we get guys like Lonzo Ball. It's not a bad Bulls team. Again, we are expecting them to make moves at the deadline because obviously the Bulls aren't contending right now, but we'll see. I like Chicago in the spot here to shock a lot of people and beat the Kings. We get we get Chicago at plus money. We're going to take it, plus 3.5, plus 130. Give me the Bulls here at home at the United Center against the Sacramento Kings. Next up, we move on to the Boston Celtics and the New Orleans Pelicans. Just the enthusiasm just went from here. Oh, we gotta talk about the Pels, who'd just be the Sixers, which, trust me, I'll keep that same energy when we talk about the Philadelphia 76ers in a little bit. Zion suspended, That was a 1-game suspension, right? So Zion's back now, I think. Okay. Brandon Ingram's still out. DeJounte Murray now questionable for this game. It doesn't really matter. Boston wins it. I'm going to say it outright. Don't bet minus 14.5. Just don't. It's just, again, if you force me on a pick, which I predict every single game, sure, I will tell you, yes, Boston will cover 14.5 points. But there are 9 games today, plus there's NFL football, plus there's college basketball that we talked about a couple hours ago. Link is in the description down below. This is something you should just stay away from. It just is. Because, guys, we can't trust Boston coming off of that loss against Sacramento. They lost 114-97. They were winning in the first half, and they just completely laid an egg in the second. Okay, and I get it. They're playing the 9-win New Orleans Pelicans, or the 8-win New Orleans Pelicans. But New Orleans has a guy by the name of CJ McCollum who's made it his mission to will New Orleans in every single game that they're playing, at least in the second, or at least, since, I don't know, the end of December, post-Christmas. It kind of felt that way for CJ McCollum. Or actually, honestly, since 2025's happened. Great for CJ. He's boosted his trade value if he's going to get moved out of New Orleans. So that's why this is a very unreliable game to pick. Again, Boston's going to win it. I'd be very shocked if they don't. But 14.5 points, yeah, they could easily cover that. But at the same time, I could easily see CJ McCollum having a crazy night. Zion's back in the lineup. We'll see what we get out of him. And I could see New Orleans covering the 14.5 at the same time. So again, just don't bet it. Again, I give you a pick for every single game. So the pick is Boston minus 14.5. If Boston's playing at their best, if Boston's, fulfilling what they're supposed to do out there, if they're, meeting expectations with Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown, with Chris Stapps, if Derek White's, figured out how to shoot the ball like he forgets how to sometimes, the Celtics will be fine. But again, there are 9 games, just stay away from this one. But again, the pick will be Boston minus 14.5 and obviously Celtics to win. Okay, on to our next game, we go to Cleveland, Ohio for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. All right, I'm going to straight out say it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can definitely see a world where the Pacers win this game. Okay, I can just see it. Okay, I can see it. Cleveland coming off of that Thunder win the other day. They beat Toronto, and oddly enough, the Raptors game is closer than the Thunder game, which is weird. And now it's the 4th game of this homestand, and Indiana comes in and beats them. I don't know. I could just see it. I could really see it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't know. The Pacers, they've beat the Celtics this year, and they've done it multiple times. Indiana does beat these better teams, and Indiana has not lost so far in 2025. They are 5-0, a win in Miami, a win against the Suns, a win in Brooklyn, back-to-back victories in Indiana against the Bulls and against the Golden State Warriors. And Tyrese Halliburton, again, I think has to be, he has to be, again, when the Pacers were losing, we pointed the blame to Tyrese Halliburton. When the Pacers are winning, we point to Tyrese Halliburton as well. I will always give Tyrese his props when he plays well, and I will be honest with you about how the Pacers are playing when he's losing, or how Tyrese is playing when the Pacers are losing. And again, Siakam is that rock. Siakam's always going to be the consistent guy who's going to give you 20 points a night. But it's all a matter of what Tyrese Halliburton does around him, obviously, with Tyrese, again, dealing the ball, with Tyrese obviously scoring as well. Well, don't look now, but Tyrese Halliburton has got his numbers back up to 18.5 and 9. Those are all-star numbers, guys. Will he actually be an all-star? We went over that yesterday. I don't know. I would like to believe so, but who knows if he actually gets there. I think Indiana can make this a competitive game with the Cavs. I really think they can. Again, they played Boston on the road December 29th. They won that game. Tyrese dropped 31 points. If Halliburton has a big night, man, this is a guy in Tyrese Halliburton who rises to the occasion. This is a big-time player for the Pacers. So I think that's where the Pacers cover 8.5. I think that's too big. Well, I don't know. I get why the line's where it's at. Because, again, Indiana, they've been very up and down this season. But Indiana with 5 straight victories. And the Cavs, again, they're 33-4. They're a very good team. We'll see. This is the first of 2 against Indiana. I'm going to say it outright. I think the Pacers get one of them. So if it's not tonight, I do think Indiana's got a really good chance of beating this team on Tuesday. As for this one, though, I will side ever so slightly with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've got so many pieces, man. It's such a good team. It just is. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, the 2 bigs, obviously. We're talking about Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, and the way those 2 guys are able to move the rock between themselves. I mean, my goodness, it's a tough team to beat, and everyone else around them can shoot. LeVert, Jerome, Niang, Strus, they can all shoot. It's a very good team, man. It's a very good team. Again, how well are they going to perform in the postseason? I don't know. Are they, the 33-4 record, are they going to carry that into the second half of the year? Who knows? But I do think the Pacers give them a fight. I do think ultimately the Cavs will win it. But again, guys, Indiana is playing such better basketball. This is a team that was 10-15 at one point this year. They're 21-18 now. Again, I think Indiana will definitely work their way out of the play-in. I'm hoping they put themselves in a very good position come the postseason, because I think, again, they can give these top dogs a lot of trouble. I'm talking Cleveland. I'm talking Boston. I'm talking New York, if you want to count them. I'm talking the Bucks. I do think Indiana will shock one of those teams. I think, again, Indiana will likely get matched up with one of those squads, and I think the Pacers beat one of them to start the playoffs. I'm just saying. I think they do. Give me Indiana, though, to cover the 8.5 points. Give me the Cavs to win. Watch out for Tuesday in Indianapolis, though. On TNT, watch out. I think Tyrese and the guys get their get back. But I think this one will be close. And again, it's just the appetizer for what we see on Tuesday night. Just saying. Let's move on to our next game. And our next prediction, we move to Orlando, Florida, where we have the Orlando Magic taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Now I can just talk about my disgust with the Philadelphia 76ers. Guys, this team's not making the playoffs. There's not. I took a look at the Sixers schedule. They aren't going anywhere. Guys, here, I'll just screen share the schedule with you guys because I don't want to talk about every single game. Oh, God, my face cam's in the way. We'll just do this. There we go. Right there. Okay. Actually, I'll just take it all off because it's just, we can see half my face. Guys, look at the schedule. Orlando, OKC, New York, Indiana. It's just like, there's no bad teams here. Even hell, in Chicago, second half of a back-to-back, that's a rough game. Like, sure, again, eventually you're going to get your Torontos, your Brooklyns, but still, man, I mean, this is a difficult schedule. And their record? Oh, yeah. They are 15-21. Legitimately, I don't think they even make the plan. I'm serious. I don't think they even make the plan. They're screwed, guys. They are screwed. They're not beating the Magic either, guys, with the injuries the Sixers have as well. So, again, it was announced a couple days ago, Jared McCain, the guy who was likely going to win the Rookie of the Year this season, out for the year. Rough for the Sixers. Again, the future is very bright for the man out of Duke, but unfortunately for the Sixers and for McCain this year, he is out for the season. But for tonight against the Magic, Joel Embiid's questionable. Who knows if the guy is going to play? Drummond is out with a toe injury. Kyle Lowry is out for the foreseeable future as there is no timeline for his hip injury. Oh man, it is all crashing down for the Sixers. Hell, Paul George is playing the center. PG is looking for just, sound bites on his podcast saying, oh, I'm sick of it. I don't want to play the 5. And sure, if I'm Paul George, I don't want to play the 5 either, but it's crazy how quick this guy's fallen off since coming to Philadelphia. The Sixers aren't good. They're not. And Orlando has Paolo Banchero back. And what did Paolo Banchero do in his last game? 34 points. Now, they didn't beat the Bucks, but still, 34 points out of Banchero in his first game back. There is no, I was going to say ring rust, this isn't fighting, but there's no rust. Banchero comes right back in and drops 34. If everyone else can get healthy, the Magic are a problem. Now, Jalen Suggs is not playing, Gary Harris is not playing, Jet Howard is questionable, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope KCP is probable. So again, that's the only reason the odds are where it's at in this game. Regardless, I still like the Magic. Now, again, we are going to like the Magic even more if Joel Embiid doesn't play. We're hoping that he doesn't play just because we're picking the Magic here. I'm just sick of the 76ers. But again, Banchero is going to start willing this team to victory. And also, hey, Banchero's got to prove it's his team. Because the way Franz Wagner was playing after Banchero got hurt looked to me like it was Franz Wagner's team. Just saying, I know Banchero's an all-star. Franz is too. But, we'll see. I think Banchero's got a chip on his shoulder. He just played his 6th game of the season, and I think Banchero's going to really put in work to try to get the Magic back to the top of the East before Franz comes back. I'm just saying, I don't know. Give me Orlando in this spot. I think it's a really good spot, too. Minus 125. We'll take that all day long. Give me the Magic at home to beat the Philadelphia 76ers, who have just so many question marks. Who knows what's going to happen with that team? I think they're missing the plan, though. Next up, we go to the nation's capital. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes to the Capital One Arena to Washington, D.C. to take on the Washington Wizards, the Thunder by 1 million. It's that simple. These two teams played a couple weeks ago in OKC. The Thunder won by 18 points. I think that was like a 19.5 point line. The Thunder did not actually cover. They get less now, obviously, with the game being in Washington, 16.5. Thunder by 30, right? The Wizards just went to Chicago, lost by 33 points. They hosted the Rockets the other night, lost by 23. what's going to happen when OKC comes to town. The Thunder are coming off a huge victory against the New York Knicks, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander puts up 39 points. Again, the guy's the best player in the NBA. There's no denying that. That's how great Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is. This is just another game where the Thunder completely just outpace the Wizards, and the Wizards won't be able to score. That's first off. And Shai, this is a game where we need Shai to stat pad a little bit, just for the MVP resume. We need Shai to put up, 43. Let's aim for that. No 31-point performance tonight. No. 40. Let's get 40 for Shai tonight. That's what I'm hoping. Now, looks like Chet might be back sooner rather than later. I'm thinking maybe within the next 2-3 weeks, hopefully Chet Holmgren returns with the OKC Thunder. You saw him on the bench the other night against the Cavs. He's back traveling with the team, so I think that's got to be a good sign that Chet's going to be coming back soon. Only real injuries today for the Thunder are big-time injuries. Is Alex Caruso. He will not be playing with the hip injury. But hey, man, if we can get games like we got out of Isaiah Joe the other night, I'll keep taking it for the Thunder. Isaiah Joe, I know Shai again drops 39. That's the big attraction, obviously, for the OKC Thunder. But at the same time, man, Isaiah Joe off the bench, 8 for 11 from beyond the arc, 11 for 16 from the field, 31 points. That will play. We will take it. And Jalen Williams, the former Santa Clara Bronco, with 19 as well. J-Dub should be an all-star. I hope he is. Guys, we have the 31-6 OKC Thunder taking on the 6-30 Washington Wizards. That's insane. Give me the Thunder to dominate and blow the Wizards out. Let's go on to our next game. We go to Salt Lake City, Utah, where we have got the Brooklyn Nets taking on the Utah Jazz. Give me the Jazz. I do feel like they are still playing a little bit better. I know they lost their last game to the Suns, and we took them against the Heat as well. They lost that one. I mean, I don't know. The Jazz have just been good enough just to lose recently, right? They go to Orlando, and they go to Miami. They win back-to-back games. Bryce Sensabaugh looks great, and they return back to Utah. Trae Young beats them on a half-court buzzer beater. The Heat beat him by 5 points, and the Suns beat him by 8. It is what it is, and Sensabaugh hasn't played since those back-to-back great games against Miami and Orlando because of illness, and I don't know if Sensabaugh is back yet for this game against Brooklyn, but I think, again, that's something that has to be talked about. What will Bryce Sensabaugh be when he returns? Because, again, he was great in those 2 games in Florida. I hope this illness doesn't, disturb the momentum, but we'll see. He's questionable for this game. We will see. The Jazz don't really have an updated injury report for this game yet, so not entirely sure who's going to go, but obviously they just played yesterday against the Suns. Hopefully they get guys like John Collins. They get a guy like Sensabaugh back in the lineup for this one. I don't trust Brooklyn right now. 4 straight losses. They've lost a lot. 9 out of their last 10. Their only win being the Bucks. Their only wins, actually, they've lost like 13 out of their last 15. Their only 2 wins are the Bucks. But the thing with the Nets is everybody's hurt, right? Bojan Bogdanovic will not play. Trenton Watford will not play. Cameron Johnson will not play. D'Angelo Russell will not play. Dariq Whitehead, questionable. Cam Thomas will not play. I don't know. They're putting together a G League team to try to play this game. So who's starting? Ben Simmons, Keon Johnson, Zaire Williams, Noah Clowney, Nick Claxton. Bench unit, Reese Beekman, Jalen Wilson. No, he started. Jalen Wilson, Day'Ron Sharp, and Tyrese Martin. Yeah, Utah. Lauri Markkanen has been playing really well. And Walker Kessler, again, is a trade candidate and should be a trade candidate for every team in the association in need of a center. Lauri Markkanen has been playing great basketball. I'm hoping this is Lauri kind of returning back to all-star form again. 35 in the loss to the Hawks, 23 in the loss to the Heat, 24 in the loss to the Suns, leading the Jazz in points every single night. Markkanen's playing great. Kessler plays great ball. Shout out to Isaiah Collier, who's finding his footing in the NBA as well. I like the Jazz a lot in this spot to beat the Nets, a Nets team that is bruised and battered and missing a lot of their star players. Give me Utah at home at Salt Lake City. Let's move on to our final game of the day. I actually made it a feature game because I think this game is somewhat meaningful. Charlotte, I know they're 8-27, but the Charlotte Hornets come to Phoenix. That's the last game the Charlotte Hornets have played was their game at home against the Suns, because Charlotte was supposed to go on that little LA trip. They, had both their games against the Lakers on Thursday and the Clippers yesterday postponed because of the fires. Now they are in Phoenix, Arizona to take on the Phoenix Suns. And again, the last time the Hornets played was January 7th. LaMelo Ball puts up 32 points, and the Hornets beat the Suns. Can the Suns get their get back? What has Phoenix done since that Hornets loss? They win at home against the Hawks, and they win at home against the Utah Jazz. I think the Suns have been all right with Bradley Beal coming off the bench. I don't think it's been hurting them all that much. Beal kind of just is in his place off the bench, obviously. He put up 25 points in the win over the Atlanta Hawks the other game. Yusef Nurkic just doesn't play anymore, which, it is what it is. It's kind of crazy. He doesn't even get bench minutes no more. I'd assume Nurk is, gotta be traded, right? Has to be. I would assume. But they're starting Mason Plumlee now. It is what it is. Plumlee just, he doesn't do much, but he just does enough for Phoenix, right? Again, it's KD and Book. Obviously, that's just what, those are the guys who are keeping it together for Phoenix. Do I think they cover the 7.5 points against Charlotte? I'm going to say no. I think Charlotte keeps this game close. I do think this is a competitive basketball game that the Suns just get by in. Charlotte's fresh. Again, they have not had to play since that last game against Phoenix, which, again, was 5 days ago. So Charlotte has not had to play. I think they'll be very competitive in this game with the Suns. I do think Phoenix will end up winning it, but I do think LaMelo Ball is able to keep this game very competitive. Again, LaMelo right now looking like an All-Star game starter this year, at least in the fan voting. And I do think Charlotte keeps this game competitive, but ultimately I will take the Suns to win it. Again, I think a big factor in this game is just the Hornets' inactivity, which I think is going to help them in this game, obviously not having to play all this time. But I do think Phoenix does get this one out. I think they do win this one, just because the game's in Phoenix. But I think it's a competitive game. Again, the last time these two teams played, Charlotte was able to pick up the win in North Carolina. But in this one, I will take Phoenix to pick up the victory. So folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA predictions here for January 12th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching. And Mamba forever.